Before we get into these game-changing tactics, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and ring the bell for more information. Have you ever wondered what makes someone truly unforgettable? Imagine having the ability to make any woman miss you, even when you're not around. In today's video, we're revealing 5 psychological tricks based on Stoicism that can leave a lasting impression and keep her thinking about you long after you part ways. One of the things that might improve your relationships and personal development is emotional detachment, which makes her desire things she cannot have. The truth is that displaying desperation is the quickest way to put someone away, but when you exhibit emotional detachment, you create a magnetic force that makes her want what she cannot have. Let me ask you this. Have you ever felt that the more you pursue someone, the more they pull away? It's like you're giving everything, but you're still left with nothing. Detachment is about putting yourself above the need for her acceptance, not about ignoring her or playing games. Imagine for a second that you are not always looking for her approval, that you are not waiting by the phone for a text, or that you are content with every word she says. By doing this, you establish a space that she begins to understand why this is so powerful, because the instant you stop pursuing her, you start to represent something more valuable. You become a mystery that she can't quite solve when you're always available. She can easily take advantage of you, but when you withdraw, not because you're manipulative, but because you're emotionally independent, she begins to miss you. Remember the last time someone ignored you or withdrew? Didn't you begin to question why it didn't make you want them more? That's the same psychological principle at work here. When you give her emotional space, she starts to sense the emptiness of your absence and realizes what she's missing. I promise that she will miss you, so from now on, don't pursue her or try to get her attention. Instead, concentrate on your own development and purpose. Be the type of man who is so complete and self-assured that she feels honored to be in your company when she is around. By doing this, you won't just make her miss you, you'll make her desire you more than she ever imagined. Possibly number 2, create space and absence. Let her experience the void picture. This you've been with her, had great conversations, shared meaningful moments, but then you vanish for a while. Not because you don't care, but because you understand the power of absence. You see, space isn't just physical, it's emotional too. When you allow space to grow between the two of you, something magical happens. She begins to feel the absence of you in her life. Here's the thing. People often take things for granted when they're constantly available. If you're always there, always around, she starts to expect your presence. You become a background noise in her life. But when you step back, even for a short period, it's like a spotlight on her emotions. Suddenly she realizes that something is missing. And what's missing? Absence is a psychological trigger that creates longing. It's simple. When someone is always there, it's easy to forget their significance. But when you step away, even for a bit, she'll start to feel the void of your absence. This absence gives her the space to reflect, to miss you, and to desire your presence even more. Let me ask you, have you ever been around someone who was constantly there, but you never really appreciated them until they were gone? You didn't know what you had until it was taken away. The same thing happens with her by giving her time without you. You give her the chance to truly realize how important you are. But don't mistake this for playing games. It's not about disappearing to make her chase you. It's about creating balance. The power of this psychological trick is undeniable. Sometimes you don't need to be there to be remembered. You just need to leave space for her to miss you. Number 3, keep calm in the midst of chaos. You have your own life, your own passions, and your own goals. By taking time for yourself, you're showing her that you have a life outside of her, and that life is just as valuable as your relationship. When you create space, she'll feel the absence and start to miss you. Imagine a world where there is constant pressure, noise, and drama. Be her safe harbor. She will miss you when you exhibit composure because you are the anchor in the storm, especially during chaotic times when you provide a sense of security and stability. Everything around her is unpredictable and emotions are running wild, but then there is you, who stays calm, collected, and steady while everyone else is going crazy. Women are drawn to guys who radiate calm in high-stress situations because they offer a sense of peace that the world sorely lacks. You're not agitated or reactive, but contemplative and unfazed by outside events. You are the one who leads with confidence even when everything around you is falling apart. And when you remain calm in the midst of chaos, you give her something to rely on that she can't get from anyone else. This kind of emotional strength is extremely attractive because people crave stability in an uncertain world. She wants to feel that no matter what happens, you will remain steady. How many people in her life are genuinely able to cope with stress without becoming agitated? If you want to stand out, be the man who remains composed no matter what life throws at you. This doesn't mean you have to be emotionless, but it does mean you can control your reactions. When she sees that you don't lose your cool when she feels your strength during trying times, she will start to rely on you and trust you, which will cause her to miss you when you're not there. So, whether it's a difficult conversation, a difficult task, or just regular drama, she will miss you more than anybody else because you will be the safe haven she turns to when the world feels too much for her to manage. Keep your cool and show her that you can handle anything with poise and grace. The fourth. You've definitely heard the adage, leave them wanting more. But it's more than just a catchphrase. Leave her intrigued. Don't tell her everything about yourself. It's a psychological principle that can make her miss you deeply when you reveal everything about yourself too soon. The mystery fades, and so does her interest. But when you leave her with a sense of curiosity, you create a gap that only you can fill, and that gap makes her want to know more about you, more about your world, and more about what makes you tick. Imagine this, you're talking to her, but you don't spill every detail about your life. You don't share your childhood stories, your deepest secrets, or everything you've ever done. Instead, you drop hints, tell partial stories, and give her glimpses of who you are. You're like a book with missing chapters, just enough to keep her reading, but never enough to let her finish the entire story. Why does this work? Because curiosity is powerful. People are naturally drawn to what they don't know, what they can't fully understand. When you're too easy to figure out, she'll lose interest quickly. But when there's a little mystery surrounding you, she'll start to wonder, what else does he have that I haven't seen yet? Think about this. Have you ever been so intrigued by someone that you couldn't stop thinking about them, wondering what was behind the surface? Remember that this isn't about playing games. Rather, it's about creating an allure that naturally draws her in. Don't overshare. That's the power of curiosity. It keeps her interested and keeps her searching for the next piece of the puzzle. The more you make her wonder, the more she'll want you and seek answers. The mystery will keep her interested, and she will begin to miss you when she realizes there is still so much to learn. So the next time you are with her, keep some things to yourself and let her figure out who you really are gradually. You'll begin to witness the magic happen. Number 5, when the curiosity you arouse in her makes her yearn for your company. Show her your strength by being self-assured rather than needy. Every man needs to realize the compelling fact that women are drawn to strength rather than desperation. Neediness is unattractive while confidence is magnetic. The distinction between the two can make or break your relationship with her. When you project confidence, you attract her, but when you come across as needy, you alienate her, even if you're not aware of it. So what does it mean to project confidence? It's the silent, "she will miss you," because you are a man who is whole, secure in his own life, and doesn't need her to complete him. When you show that you're fine without her, it leaves her wanting to be the one to fill that space. On the other hand, it shows a lack of self-sufficiency when you're constantly texting her, waiting for her approval or seeking her validation. It screams insecurity, and you're relying on her to feel good about yourself, which is a huge turn-off. Women want to be with a man who is happy and fulfilled, regardless of whether or not she is in his life. Confidence is about realizing that you don't need her to complete you. You already feel whole, and when you stand in your own power, she'll start to realize that she's not just lucky to be with you. She's lucky that you even chose to spend your time and energy with her. Keep in mind that this confidence isn't about arrogance. Rather, it's about self-assurance. When you demonstrate your strength without clinging to her, and when you give her space to enjoy your presence, she will miss you more than she could if you were constantly chasing after her.